I think I've been coming to the Djanogly Recital Hall here at the University of Nottingham for maybe almost 20 years, since it was built anyway. And I've always found it to be a lovely venue. And of course, 20 years ago, I wasn't playing in so many huge venues around the world as I am now, although I was still performing a lot then, of course. But I've always been faithful to coming back here because the audience is great and they listen so well, and it's nice sometimes to play in a smaller hall. And if I want to try out a program that later I'm playing in a big place, then it's a great spot for that. The only thing about playing in a smaller venue, I mean, it's just as important as if I were playing in Carnegie Hall, really. But you have to sometimes watch your sound that it doesn't get too overpowering. I mean, I'm always constantly thinking of my sound anyway in that regard. But this hall has a very good acoustic, and it's a pleasure to play in. The audience, of course, is very close to me, so it's also some of the responsibility is on them to be very quiet. And you know, it's terrible when people in the front row are fidgeting and moving about, but that won't happen here. But I think people appreciate being so close to the artist and being really feeling a part of the concert. Well, at the moment for the Art of Fugue, which I will memorize someday when I get some time to myself to do so, I'm using an iPad to play from my own score, which I scan, and then through various maneuvers get it to appear on the iPad. And there's an app that transforms it into a score, which the pages will turn this way, and then I have a pedal box on the floor near the pedal, so I turn the page with my foot, which is great because it means that I have no person beside me that might disturb my concentration or turn in the wrong place. I can do it exactly at the second that I want. And it's you know, some people don't even see that you're using it if you're in a big hall. It's really not that noticeable, but it's a great invention. It's all I really use the iPad for. Or if I'm playing a contemporary music piece, or if I'm, you know, accompanying a recital in a whole, accompanying a singer in a whole recital, and with many different single pieces, sort of, it's a great thing to have all the scores on that. It's certainly something I think that will take over more in the future. My recording project for Hyperion Records of the complete works of Bach was mainly done between 1994 and 2005. I recorded all the major keyboard works of Bach, including the concertos. And that's what really set my career going and made me famous worldwide, which was great. It was also a wonderful musical voyage for me. As my father was an organist, I had grown up with Bach, and he had always been a large part of my life and a great love. And so I'd always played a lot of his music, won several competitions dedicated to Bach. So that's what I am most known for, although it's only a part of what I do. But then after that initial project was finished, I decided to record the Well-Timbre Clavier a second time in 2008 because my vision of it had changed a bit and my way of playing. And now I'm doing the Art of Fugue, which you can debate whether that's a keyboard piece at all, but it's Bach's final work. At least it was the work that he was working on at the time he died. And very complicated stuff, the hardest thing I think I've ever done in my life. But now I've done it, and it's a huge pleasure and challenge to perform it. So, and I've done the flute sonatas, I've done the gamba sonatas, I'm working my way through the violin sonatas, so there's fortunately still always some Bach to discover. When I was a child, I didn't just do piano. I played the recorder very seriously. I played the violin for 10 years. In fact, some of the Bach concertos I played first on the violin before I played the keyboard versions. I sang in my father's choir. I did classical ballet very seriously from the age of 3 to 23. So I did many different things, which I think have an influence on how I play the piano, which is good, because playing the piano shouldn't just be, you know, playing the notes and that's it. You have to have a wide outlook, and especially the dance, I think, has given me a real feel for expressing rhythm and many different things in music. So I'm glad that I had a sort of an all-round artistic education as a child, and I would encourage any young student who is interested in playing an instrument or interested in the arts to do several different things, and then they can choose later on which one they want to make dedicate their life to. At the moment, yeah, I'm in a different city every 48 hours for several weeks, if not even several months. Tonight I'm in Nottingham, tomorrow I'm in Bristol, the next day I fly to Austria, 2 days after that I'm in Copenhagen, 2 days after that I'm in the Canary Islands, 2 days after that I'm back home in London, 2 days after that I'm up in Southport, 2 days after that I'm in the Royal Festival Hall in London. So I'm living out of the suitcase at the moment, although sometimes I get home to London just overnight to sleep a few hours in my own bed. But I like the excitement of being in different places. Of course, it's a tremendous amount of work. People don't see, they might see the concerts on the calendar, but they don't see the hours and hours of practicing that go into that, the hours of sort of business side to my life as well that I have to do. When I'm traveling on a train, I spend the whole time on my laptop answering messages. I run my own festival in Italy, which happens for a week in Umbria in the summer. That's a huge amount of work. I write my own CD notes. I have a deadline looming. So yeah, it's not just the sort of the concerts, and I'm constantly learning new repertoire. So I'm always asking to have extra practice time in places, or to find a piano when I arrive at night in a city, and that's sometimes a challenge. But it's not a bore. The taxi driver, in fact, this morning asked me if I didn't get bored with my life and all that traveling. I said, no, I never get bored. I never have time to get bored, for sure. That's a word that doesn't even enter my vocabulary. I always, I guess, look forward to my festival in Italy because it gives me a chance to work with many different artists from around the world. This year I have coming the Canadian singer Barbara Hannigan, who's doing great things at the moment. We've actually never met, but that'll be wonderful. I have the conductor Hannu Lintu from Finland, who will be conducting the orchestra from Florence. I have the Mandel Ring String Quartet from Germany. I have several young artists from here in Britain, Chloe Hanslip, Mark Simpson, Oliver Coates. So it's a great time that week, and people come from all over the world to listen to the concerts. I have several recording projects. I will be recording The Art of Fugue in August. I'll be recording some more Mozart concertos in Ottawa with my hometown orchestra, the National Arts Centre Orchestra, in July, and with Hannu Lintu. And yeah, so lots of interesting projects on the calendar coming up, and more things soon to be announced that are still in the cards. Yeah.